How'd you say it, Puma?
Why not? On 6, ready, set, ha, 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 ha.
Welcome to the Fantasy Wise Guys, baby. It's playoff time.
That's how you do an intro.
That is it, and it is the playoff tips episode. We got a lot of shit to talk about, Puma.
Yes, we do. I mean, there's a lot of tips and tricks for you people out there to get out your notepad, if you do that anymore, and write all of these down because this is going to help you bring home a championship.
And if you don't write it down, don't worry. We'll fit it in the description. That way you can copy and paste it, hang it up on your wall or something.
Refrigerator.
Put it on your refrigerator. It's a great place for it. Again, I'm Mike Meals.
Joey Puma.
We are your hosts. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill. Get us out there, move us, because this episode is going to let you see the key insight from the Fantasy Wise Guys, why we are the Wise Guys, why we win championships, why we go to the playoffs constantly.
Yeah.
I mean,
you want to go to the Super Bowl 11 times? You watch this show.
This is one of those episodes where I think that we just got to be quick and to the point and explain the detail of it. We want to keep it short for you, but we want you to also have as much information as you can. If the rules apply to you, if you can make certain things like in this tips episode happen, you know, you might not have certain guys that you could drop, or you might not have options to do crazy amounts of moves. So just take what you can and work with it.
Absolutely. I think we should, let's get started.
All right, you start. Wait, what?
I got you.
What do we got for the first tip?
So for our first tip,
you go, then I go, you go, like that. I like that.
I like it even better. Okay, first tip: roster a backup quarterback.
Oh,
all right. Even if you do have an elite quarterback, right? It's become a time where injuries, but not only injuries, matchups, right? And also the thought process of keep away. Right? I'm in a league with Mike, right? I know he likes Jackson Dart, but Dart is on a bye. But I know I could possibly use Dart in the future for these fantasy playoffs. He's very viable with his legs.
Yep.
This is just an example. Why not I stash him even if I have a Lamar Jackson, even if I have a Joe Burrow, right? Because at the end of the day, matchups will decide winners and losers. Look at the last 3 weeks of Lamar Jackson. I don't even think he's eclipsed 20 points.
Yeah.
And it is very concerning, right? This is just an example, but there are people out there with a Lamar Jackson thinking about sitting him for Jacoby Brissett.
Oof.
That's where we are, people. So with that, roster 2 quarterbacks, be ahead of the game. Mike, what do we got next?
You don't want to get caught holding the bag in the playoffs. So absolutely great one. It's win or go home. The next one, secure your insurance running backs, similar to the quarterback situation, but for these insurance running backs, especially if you are not deep at RB, make sure if you have a guy like Josh Jacobs, you got Emmanuel Wilson, or if you got a guy like Christian McCaffrey, you got Brian Robinson Jr., because you might have played hero RB, drafting one of these high-end running backs, and you wouldn't want to get into the position where you lose him and then you lose all the volume that he's been producing. So, again, if you're not that deep at running back, try to secure your insurance backs, at least one of them. You don't have to get every insurance back from every running back
you want to monopolize that position with that team. Like Mike said, CMC, for example. Well, I want to go into the season knowing, or towards the end, I'm going to have the 49er backfield. Something happens, I could shoot B-Rob Jr. in there the next day. And you want to be able to have that flexibility. Next, roster, defense, special teams, right? With a good 15 through 17 matchup, right? That is your playoff into Super Bowl for fantasy, right? I would roster multiple defenses. Why, you might ask? Like I just said, matchups is huge, right? Huge, not only for defense, but think about it. There's teams out there that are very good on special teams. The Seattle Seahawks, right, for instance. They get a lot of takeaways. They could return a kickback, right, with Horton. Another defense out there. Baltimore, right? Like, they put up modest against Cincinnati, but they have some matchups out there. San Francisco, they're a little bit banged up. Week 15, who do they play? The Tennessee Titans.
Easy schedule.
Wouldn't you like to open up your fantasy, playoff versing Cam Ward and nobody to throw to, I would think, yeah. So, again, roster multiple defenses, play the matchup game, because 1 point, 2 points can be the deciding factor of you going to go get that chip. I've got 7 of them. Trust me, I know.
Along with the 49ers, some of my low-key sleeper defenses I like, the Buccaneers and the Saints we've talked about. Those two teams also have great rest of season schedule. So did the Giants. They have a great rest of the season.
Just before we move on, don't be name biased, right? Mike just mentioned the New Orleans Saints. And for the most part, they have sucked throughout the year. But 15 through 17, they have some winnable matchups to get points. And that's all you're looking for.
And they've produced some double-digit fantasy games, which is what I usually want to see. I want to see that they've at least popped off at some point. So, yeah, if you're playing a shitty team, absolutely. Now, next one. Block your opponents when necessary. You might not have the space to drop a guy specifically to block somebody else. Like, let's say you don't need them. Or let's say somebody has a tight end and they only have one tight end. God forbid that tight end gets hurt. If you see that there's a Brenton Strange or somebody dumped a Dalton Kincaid and he's on the free agents, you do not want to let your opponent get that. So if you can pick him up before him, eliminate any options for him to recoup that lineup position. So pay attention to your opponents. There's no more bye weeks. Otherwise, I would say see if they got buys coming. But of course, again, bad matchups, insurance running backs possibly, a defense, if they're looking for a certain defense, block them.
Mike,
you have the opportunity.
There's a point in time. Even I've done this during the season. You know, I would literally have.
I've watched you block a million.
I've literally had 4 kickers on my roster at one point, just because I knew the dude that I was going in against didn't have a kicker, and they wanted to stockpile talent, which some people will do, and they'll say, "I'll get a kicker Saturday night." Well, you know what? Go get a Schmidt on the Browns or something, right? Because I'm going to be 10 steps ahead of you, and that's what you people have to do. You have to be 10 steps ahead of your opponent. Next.
If blocking was a murder, Puma would have like 45 bodies, I'll tell you.
I'd be, what's the guy on the Rangers?
God, Larry would know.
Messi?
Get Larry on the line.
Yeah, get Larry on the line. Whatever, it was a famous goalie. Okay, next, balance your roster, right? Ceiling versus floor, right? Again, we brought up the Bucky, Irving analogy. We also brought up Luther Burden, right, with our streams of the week. You also want to temper, but not only temper your expectations, shoot for high reward, low risk, right? Because, again, this could be the difference between winning or losing.
Yeah, big time.
You know, the best analogy I could give is when I won a championship in 2016, I took a chance on, in week 11, Devontae Parker of the Miami Dolphins, and he ended up winning me a championship, right? So it's those kind of plays that, you have to take advantage of. And that could mean volume, right? The Von Vele. If everyone's hurt on the Saints, the ball's got to go somewhere. Adonai Mitchell, there's no Garrett Wilson. You know, the ball has to go somewhere. Even though a team might lean on their stud running back or what have you, eventually they're going to have to throw, and you want to be the beneficiary.
Oh, absolutely. And then you can't really just stash too many people of like the same potential. You know, like you don't want to have all these booms on your line.
Because ultimately, that's how you win. There has to be some risk in order to receive that reward. That's why it feels so good being a champion at the end.
Yeah. Now this kind of thing, I think that goes without question. But if you forget, prepare for weather and atmosphere. When I say weather, you already know: is it raining? Is it snowing? Is it windy? Atmosphere: are they in a dome? Are they not in a dome? What's the temperature like? So in this case, where we were talking about rostering multiple quarterbacks, let's say you have an elite quarterback like a Jaden Daniels who just came back from injury, and you want to start him, but he's playing in a bad game of wind. If he's playing in a windy game,
right.
Or let's say you got Bo Nix who's about to play again in in Kansas City in a couple weeks. If he's playing there and it's windy, but you got Sam Darnold, Week 17, playing against the Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, I'm going to look at weather and I'm going to go for the guy that's playing in a better atmosphere. And in terms of that too, I'm talking about kickers. Like if I'm playing a kicker, I want to look for a kicker that's playing in a dome in a potentially high-scoring matchup. I don't want to play somebody that's going to be in a snow game or it's going to be 20-mile-an-hour winds. So this is the time of the year to pay attention to those little weather elements.
I will throw out there, don't overanalyze either. Yes, what Mike's saying, that does come into play a lot of times. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you got there with Josh Allen, nobody's telling you to sit Josh Allen.
No.
If it's somebody that's on the border,
yeah, you gotta,
like a Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett, those mid-tier quarterbacks, they're interchangeable. Like, you might even play a Geno Smith, not because of his name, but because of the matchup and where they're playing. They're playing in Vegas in a Lions Stadium where it's 70 degrees and close.
No, yeah.
Definitely. It's dependent on the situation.
Also, like when we talk about rostering a backup quarterback, even if you have an elite quarterback, for me, it's like I'm going to start my elite quarterback most likely every game. But if they get injured, that's why you want to have the backup.
Correct.
And the same sense here. I'm going to most likely start it, especially if it's Josh Allen in a snow game. You saw a couple of years ago or last year. Remember he had that passing, receiving
Amari
touchdown?
Cooper gave it to
that was fucking unbelievable.
That was unbelievable, and the guy was walking out with 40 points in the snow against San Francisco.
Everybody playing
Sunday
against
night.
Josh Allen that day. They're like, wait a minute, hold on. They're trying to calculate it, trying to put in their appeals.
I'll give you another scenario. There was one time, I think it was 2014 or 2013, and Aaron Rodgers was playing in the snow. And he just lit it up with Jordy Nelson, all those guys.
It happens.
So it happens. I've seen Brady do it. But again, Hall of Fame status type of player.
Yeah,
right?
if you're talking Mahomes, Mahomes,
Burrow,
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Even Lamar, I'd play him. But if you got a borderline Sam Darnold, Brissett, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams.
Those guys.
These are guys
CJ Stroud.
These are guys that could get benched in a bad situation.
Absolutely.
So next, last
but not least, plan ahead of weekly matchups. Okay, so I know that week 15 I'm going to play Mike, but in week 16, if I beat Mike because Justin had the bye, I'm going to play Justin. So adjust accordingly to your matchup, right? Like, for instance, I think the best analogy I could give is, say I'm heading into week 16, I passed Mike, I beat him, and I go to Justin, and I'm going to play Justin, but Justin has 2 Monday night players, right? I don't want to leave myself vulnerable to not have a safety net and have everyone play at 1 or 4 o'clock, right? I'm going to at least shoot for one guy that's playing on Monday night to combat him. And I've had this numerous times, and Mike would see it too. Like, I'd pick up Nick Folk of the Jets because I knew Chris, that I was playing Tennessee, Chris had Achane, right? So I'm going to pick up a Nick Folk because I want to combat his points, right? Like, Achane might put up 25. Well, if I get Folk to put up 15, well, all right, like, I just cut into that 10-point deficit, especially if my players already went before his. Yeah, most likely, unless you're going to lose, you're winning that matchup. Mm-hmm. And the difference could be that 25 points. So if you could cut those points in half with even a kicker or a defense, etc., someone else to combat it, it won't be such a big blow. And I feel me playing that way has gotten me to where I am now.
Oh, absolutely, bro. And I was just about to say, I mean, as we conclude these fantasy tips, sure, if you follow each one of these tips, it's not you're not guaranteed to win the championship.
No, not at all.
But it will increase your chances by
yes.
at least 50% by being active and paying attention. Like, at this point, you got 3 weeks. Pay attention every detail.
Yeah, I would say, most trade deadlines have passed or are going to pass. So if it has not passed, another tip, we don't have it on here, would be hey, look, I mean, I guess this, is more viable for keeper leagues, but it could work in a restart league as well. If you see someone's on the brink of not being in it or is out of it, go make a trade with that person.
Yeah.
Keeper leagues, obviously, you give picks for future, but if it's a restart league, I would probably look for someone in that 6, 7, 8 range, just so you could make a deal with them if you're already in. And look at their schedule of their matchups, because if you find someone that's willing to deal someone to just make the playoffs, you could get away maybe with taking a Christian McCaffrey, giving him 2, and because McCaffrey's on a bye, that's why I bring that up. So there are some bye weeks that are in play here that people are trying to make the playoffs, and if you're in the 7th seed and you're trying to make that 6th seed, and that person has Christian McCaffrey, and I'm the 2 seed, I know I have a bye, I could probably steal CMC real quick off their hands.
Yeah.
For them being desperate of trying to make it.
I hope you got your notepads out, and I hope you wrote every detail down, because these were the fantasy tips for your fantasy football playoffs. This is it. This is it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to let us know how you're doing. Keep up with your matchups.
Absolutely.
Send us your start sits. Anything else, Boomer? Am I missing anything?
I think we're good.
Let's upload it. It's time to go.
Hey, if anybody thinks of a question, anything like that that we did not mention, hit us up on the socials. Our Instagram's popping.
Please.
Pop it like it's hot. And let's go bring home some titles.
Thanks for being with us. I'm Mike Meals.
Joey Puma, master your game.